Yeah. So whenever we want to connect to a particular server, we need something called as connection string. Okay, we need something called as connection string, and that connection string will involve information about the server details, which can be IP, port, username, and password. And since we are dealing with a database server, okay, we are dealing with a database server, it will have an additional information of database name. Okay, apart from this we will have something called as database name. So now we have come to a point where we can say connection string to a particular database, or let's replace the server with the database. Okay, so connection string for a particular database is like list of information written in a single line, which can be IP, port number, username, password, and database. So if you can go to the internet and say what is connection string for MS SQL, okay, so you will get an string. Let's say you will get something like this, right? So let's say standard security, that is server name, right? Server name, database name, user ID, and password. So here server name will include, like when you say my server address, it will include both IP and port number. Is that clear?
Okay.
So now I hope we are clear what is connection string and why it is required, or else in other words, what are the information required to connect a particular database. We need connection strings, and sorry, connection string, and what does a connection string involves. It has IP, port, database name, username, and password. Okay, so let's say whenever you are connecting to SSMS. Okay, so as I mentioned it yesterday, while this one will open up, just close these ads. Okay, uh let it open, take some time. Yeah, so here it is. So whenever it will open, will require to connect to a SQL server, right? Connect to a server. So from this client we are trying to connect to a server, and then the type of server that we are trying to connect is a database engine, and then this is a server name. So by default what happen is it will auto have something called as 1433, but sorry, 1433 port number. Now since it is on my local machine, and then the port is also default, I don't have to mention the port. Okay, and the type of authentication for you guys, it will be right now Windows authentication. Okay, so what will happen is it will by default use the Windows user for now. Okay, or else what I can have, I can define my own user and then define a password. Go ahead,
Ashish, why we need the both application just like MySQL, these are SQL, MS SQL and SSM. SSMM is this is a server, and second thing is there is a application. We have to configure that in SQL
no no no
that server.
See, SSMS isn't client. Okay,
Okay.
so it is more like browser for the database.
To browse that to connect with that database, we
Database
have
server,
to server. We have to install server also that
we have to install the client as well.
client as well.
So we
Okay.
have the server running in the backend, and then also need to have a client to access that server. Either
Mm-hmm.
we can have a client or we can connect it through command prompt, but then
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of this course, we'll always do it to the client.
Okay.
Okay, because client, as I mentioned, right, it is more like an UI, so you
Mm-hmm.
can have a better interaction with the server,
Right, right. Image.
right? So we can connect here. Now if you see, I have all the database accessible for me. So even if you so you see, as I mentioned, this is a client, so it is not that it will connect only to the server that is on my particular local machine. It can connect to any MS SQL server which is accessible through my network.
Okay, what is that type of server? There is a personal database the institute has created, or what else?
No, like it is just a database on my local machine. There's nothing like we have a
Okay.
database for like created by Orbit Animation.
Okay.
Okay, so if what if like if say two of you guys get into a particular private network, then it might be a possibility that I can connect you two guys like you two guys can connect to a database of each other machine as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's how actually it works. So in when you go to industry, it is you will never find the database or the application on the same machine, right? So what happen is on a server, maybe very huge server, they will have a database set up, and then you guys will have this interface or this client on your local machine, that is your laptop. And then since both the things, server and your machine, are on the same network, you will be able to connect to that particular server. Okay, I hope things are clear up to this point, right?
Yeah, but not that much.
Um, you're joining for just for today, right? Abid, or like yesterday also you were
Sorry.
there.
Yesterday I was also there.
Your name was
Preet,
Preet.
Harpreet.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Harpreet.
So which part is that which you're not getting it?
This client server, because
Uh,
I'm confusing database, because normally we connect with database with server, but you have said there is a client, it's showing data
mm,
to your own machine, not for
yes.
server. So how
So
can we download that database? Just like if I want to connect with the company database, so I have to connect with
yeah,
we
so
need a
if you want to connect to a company database, that's what I
we
mentioned.
have
Like
to
you will have the
server
server
name.
details. Yeah, you will have the server details from IT persons, and then they will give
Okay.
you some detail for that particular server, and then you can connect to it. So right now also I'm connected to a particular database server itself, but then now in my case, the database server and the client are on the same machine.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Now okay.
Okay, so moving forward, once we have connected to the database, what are the things that we can do is just a second. Okay. So now let's see what we have. We have databases, okay, and we have something called a security. So like this, you may not need to know, but then just for the time being, whenever you have installed the like made a fresh installation, you might have to enable this SA, this SA user. So for that, you can go to the security, go to the login, just double click this one, okay, and in the status, make it enable and grant the permission, make it enable and grant permission. And then you can also and then you can set some password and then click OK. Then you should be able to use the SA user as well for login, or else if you want to create some new user, you can create new login as well. So but then that is not your job in the company, and mostly you will not be able to allow, you might not see these options when you go in a company, because you will have very restricted access to the database. So yeah, so now let's say we have database, we have multiple database. So now let's see, we talked about what are databases, what are schema, what are tables, and what are the rows and columns. So today we'll try to start by creating some of the databases. So let me just get some pre-written scripts just to save time, or else we'll start with the scratch. Let me see if I have that on my local machine. Ashish Moyer training classes SQL. SQL notes, types of statement we do have. Okay, we don't have any sample database. We do have. Let me just see. Okay, so I'll share these files with you guys as well. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just open these files, create objects. So for now, just to understand. Okay, so okay, these are some of the ways which when we create. So first of all, if you want to create a particular database, we start by writing so please understand this SQL is very much very close to English. Okay, so if you want to know how to learn these statements, or how to by heart these statements, just make sure you use your simple try to keep it simple. And if you're creating something, it will start with create and what you are trying to create, and then the name for the creation. So if I want to create a database, you can see that it is create database name. If I want to create a schema, it is create schema name. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so let's say I want to create a suppose if I want to create a database. Okay, so let's say I go here. So okay, before we start creating database, let's just understand something that is particular to SQL server, sorry, MS SQL. So whenever you create a database, okay, there are two ways. Either you can create through new database, so that will be from this UI. So let's say I want to create, let's say my database 01. Okay, so what will happen is it will create a default database. Okay, so it now I have the default database, but I don't have any tables here. Okay, so like maybe we have some system tables, but then we don't have any actual tables. Okay, what is the next other way? We can write a query. So right, as I mentioned, this is a client, right? So we can do most of the things interactively, or else we can always go back and write the queries. So let's say I want to write a query, right? So maybe I'll just right click here, and maybe not here, on the server level, and I want to write a new query. Okay, so what I'll do is create database and say database name. So let's say my database 02. Okay, so when I create this one, I will have my command executed, and I will have to refresh it right now, the connection, and then I can see my database created, right? I
Yes.
hope you everybody got how do we create a database.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving forward, now I will have to store some information, right? uh, okay, before we start this, okay, I want to tell you something about the query scope, but then let's cover it after we have created tables. Okay, so now, okay, now we have created a database. Similarly, so now if you want to have a table, right, I want to create a table. So I'll cover this schema part later. So suppose if I want to create a table, I'll just copy this code and then paste it here. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is, as I mentioned, uh, kind of very simple English. I want to create a table, and then the table name should be the category, and then we want to have some columns. Okay, just focus up to this point only. We want to have some columns, so we create a table and then some column names. Okay, and when I execute this command, okay, it will create a table for me. We'll talk about the other stuff later, but then just focus right now what I am saying. We are trying to create a table based on the table name, and then we have some column names as well. So once we have created that table, it will be, again, I'll have to refresh the connection. So that is like issue with the uh, particular with the MS SQL, or in Oracle it can be automatically seen. Yeah, so let's say we are using right now my database 02, right? So it will be created in the no, my bad. Okay, uh, it will not be created here. So why it is not where like why it is not showing here is because this query window that I have, it is at the server level. Okay, now let's try to understand what like try to focus here, and let's see the scope of the query. Okay, so what will happen is, if you create a default query window that we have here, okay, it will try to connect to the main system database generally. Okay, I'm not sure where it is creating the table, but then it is creating this, it will try to connect to the default system database.
Okay.
Okay, so to make use of a particular database, we'll have to define use, okay, my database 02, use, sorry, not user. Okay, so what will happen now is my
Base case spelling.
database 02. Okay, so if I execute this command, so what will happen is it will now use my particular database, and the query that I'll execute now will be used for a particular database. So if I go back now and just refresh the connection, and go to the database and then create the tables. Now I have my table here. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is one way how we define the scope of the query to a particular database. Okay, so scope of the query means where that query will be executed, or which on which database that query will be executed. Okay, so if I directly start my query window from here, here I'm right clicking on the server name, and if I create a query window from here, and then directly without using this statement, if I directly write a query, it will be executed by default on the system database. Or else if I want to use a particular database, I would have to mention it that use the particular database and then execute the queries. Okay, this is one way. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it means without using that use my database,
Hmm.
whatever you run before, the table has created, but it is under system database, right?
Yeah, it is in the default database, which is system database.
System database. Okay, fine.
Okay, so now if you want to avoid this, okay, like if you don't want to use this particular line of code, what you can do is you can right click on a particular database and then create a new query.
New query.
So if you see here, right now my query is SQL query to जो भी like मेरा file का name है for now. Okay, and then we have also some extension like my server name, that is bctl something something SQL server dot database 02, right? You guys can see it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, earlier it was up to just the server name.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
so now even if I let's say even if I execute the same query, I'll just change the table name. Even if I execute the same query and I just change the category is to, okay, so right now I'm not using that line of code that use some particular database, but even if I execute my query now, it will create the table in my sorry, let me just refresh it. It will create the table in my particular database from where I had opened my query window. Okay,
Yeah.
so is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are two different way we can control the scope of the query. So either we can define the line of code for using the particular database, or else we can directly open the query window for a particular database itself. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this is all about the scope of queries that you need to mention. So what will happen is there might be a possibility that a same table can exist in different databases. So maybe you are using the query correctly, but then since your scope is not proper, you might get a wrong data. Okay, so in Power BI we'll be going through some user interface, so there is less likely to get wrong data, but then through database, or especially what happens is in many companies you will not even get the client, you will have to interact through the command prompt itself. So in that particular case you will have always, it is a best practice that you use this particular line of code and then execute the code. Okay, so I
Just
hope.
a basic question.
Mhm.
I mean, why, miss, what is the meaning of this? Because let's say for system database where
Mhm.
it is mentioned, uh, before that they have it is given as folder, the icon, folder icon, right?
Okay.
And for that adventure works, there's some different icon.
Okay, that is because we here the top level we have something called as directories. Okay,
Okay,
so we won't go into directories because that is not at all required for you guys. So and here the top level is the database.
okay,
So this, even if you go inside this, we have database symbols, right?
okay.
So
This is database symbol.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
is it clear?
yeah.
Okay, so these things, yeah. So now let's understand, before creating further tables, let's try to understand the concept of schema. Okay, so right now if you see, my table name was categories. Okay, or even if I use this one, my table name was categories, but then I have my table name as dbo dot categories. Okay,
Yeah, by default name.
yeah, so by default it is trying to group my tables into dbo. like it is trying to categorize my table into DBO group. Okay, now suppose if I want to have my own group, own schema, what I can do is I can create my own schema, that is create schema, or maybe let's say we can have the schema name as maybe my group. Okay, my group, my group. Okay, and then if I execute this one, this should execute. Okay, and now if I want to create, let's say we'll just create the same table. Oh, sorry, my bad. Let's say we'll create the same table. Okay, but instead of this, I will not, I'll just put something like my schema dot categories too. Okay, so what will happen now is if I execute this particular code, okay, so when I create a refresh, okay, when I create a refresh and I go to the tables, then I will have my new table, but it is coming from a different group. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this clear to
Mhm.
everyone?
Yeah.
So my point here is, if you don't define any group name, it will go under the DBO group. And if you have a particular group name, you will have to define it separately. Okay. Apart from that, table names, database name. So like most of the identifier are unique. Okay. So in a particular server, I cannot have two database with the same name. So let's say if I want to create a database with the same name again, okay, I'll just execute it again. So it will throw me an error. Okay, similarly, if I want to create in this particular database, so in a particular database I want to create the same table again, it will again give me an error. Okay, but then if you see, I have two table name with the same name, so that is because they are coming from different group. Okay.
When we write my group, just like a name, not my group, any other name. So we
Mhm.
have to put, we have to write before executing create schema, or just we can create a table and type my group or own group, then category one.
Well, I haven't directly created. Maybe we can just try it. But mostly, I think you have to define the schema, because schema is a separate
Mm,
entity. So if I
mm,
just say by group one and let's
mm,
try to execute it. So
mm.
I don't think it will work. Yeah, because schema is a separate entity, and then you will have
Okay.
to create it first.
Okay.
Okay,
Schema means we have to write a group or create a group,
create a group first,
create a group schema.
and then
Okay.
assign tables to that particular group.
Mm, okay.
Okay, so like
Okay.
as I mentioned, right, there's some hierarchy, like database inside the data, like a server inside the
Mm,
database. Sorry, inside a server you have database. Inside database you have schemas. Schemas can be skipped, but then it will be directed to a default schema, and then we have some tables. So for creation of database, a server is required. For creation of schema, a database is required. For creation of tables, schema is required, and then for creation of rows and columns, a table is required.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I hope everybody is clear up to this point. Okay, and also how we can have can we have multiple tables with the same name? Answer is yes, but then they should come from different schema. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say we have maybe we have two groups, that is, let's say we have north region and south region. So maybe we'll have the same table, that is customer details. So we can have north dot customer details and then south dot customer details in the same database. Okay, can we have same table in different database? The answer is obviously yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, similarly, can we have same schema name in can we have multiple schema with the same name? Answer is no.
No.
But then can we have same schema in different database? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope like now you are familiar with the hierarchy as well, and then what is like at what level we have to distinguish our name, right?
Mhm.
So assuming that is also clear, I'll just delete these tables. Okay, now let's get into something called as data types. Okay, let's get into something called as data types. So let's just say, what is data types? How many data types are you guys aware of?
Yesterday you have told me structured data,
No,
non-structured
okay,
data.
now in
Three
terms,
data, right?
now in terms of, let's say, individual values like integer, string, image, whatever
Three,
that
three,
what
right? Three to four.
that we have discussed based upon different category, different criteria. Now let's say we want to talk in terms of values that we have,
No,
uh,
no.
like okay, so I hope everybody has heard about these things. Like we have something called as numbers,
Number.
like text,
Yeah.
okay, dates, and images. You can say, or you can say we have something called as media data type.
Okay.
Okay, so apart from this, we can have something called as Boolean, spelling Boolean, if I'm not wrong. Okay, something like this. So my point is we can have numbers, and in the numbers also we can have multiple, so we can have whole numbers. Okay, we can have decimals. Okay, maybe we can have fractions. Okay, we can have percentage. Okay, in text also we can have single character. Okay, we can have words, like that is, or maybe in simple words we can have multiple characters. Okay, and when it comes to dates, okay, so we can replace it with dates and times. Okay, dates and time. In that also we can have different formats, like different formats. So, or maybe we can have only dates, only time, maybe combination of date, time, right? Boolean is only one, that is we will have only true or it is not actually true or false data type, it is just the what are the different values that we can have. Okay, and then for the media we have something called as what do you call this, blobs. Okay, or else we can say binary data. Okay, is that clear? So if you want to just see the nutshell part of it, we have numbers. Okay, we have numbers, we have text, we have date and time, and then we have something called as boolean and, let's say, binary data. Okay, and if you want to go into details, we can have something called as whole number, decimal fractions, and single character, multiple characters. Okay, so all these names may vary in different applications. So let's say in particular in this MS SQL, for multi-character we have something called as varchar. For numbers we have integers, we have floats, we have doubles. Okay, for date and time we have date time. For boolean we have true or false again, and then for media we have blobs and binary. So my point here is you need not to remember the exact word used for a particular data type, but then you should have a very good understanding of what are different data types and how they behave for different operators. Now we have, so up to this point everybody is clear. Let's say around
Yeah.
70% of it
Yeah.
is clear.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
now I have coined a term that is operator. Can anybody tell me what is operator? What does operator means? And then we will have something called as operands. Can anybody tell me what is operator and operands?
No.
I don't know.
And or not nor.
Let's say just try to define what is operator. You have, sir, right?
Operates machine.
Operates machine. Let's not talk about machine operator, but then okay, from operate machines, what do you mean by operate?
Operating like end user.
Operating end user? Nope.
Command,
Sorry.
command,
Comment.
command.
Command.
Yeah, command.
Different combinations
Different
that will lead into the
combinations.
result.
Let's simply put function, maybe operation,
Exactly.
like something
Addition.
something that to operation. Okay, or in simple terms, that is something that to operation, or maybe some task, or let's say some work, right? Simplest in simplest language, right? Easy to remember. What is operator? Something that do some operation. So like operator is the operation, or else task or work. For example, if I say I want to do a 3 plus 2, okay, so what I'm doing is my plus is the operator. So now it is doing a task of adding the two number, right? Similarly, I say, if I say 5 minus 3, now my minus is the operator. Similarly, if I say what is 1 and 0, we'll talk about it later, but then my and is an operator. Okay, generally it will be like something like and. Okay, now if I say bracket, that is 4 and 5, so what does it mean? It means 4 into 5. So now my bracket is an operator, right? So I hope everybody is clear what is operator.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Yeah.
operands are the entities on which the operation is to be performed. So if I say 4 plus 5, this is my operator, and these two are my operands. Okay.
Once again.
Yeah, sure. Okay, once again you want. What I'm saying is operator, you got it? What is operator? Okay,
No, no.
I'll repeat
It's
it.
a bit confused.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. So operators means something or something, or let's say someone, okay, that do operation. So we have crane operators, we have maybe some other operators, I cannot get any name right now, but then yeah, so let's say we have a crane operator. So what does it do? It controls the crane, right? Similarly, we have some arithmetic operators, so they will do arithmetic operations. Type of operators we'll see after some time, but then operator is something that will perform some action. Okay, so let's say we have something like 3 plus 3. So my plus is an operator here, and what it is doing is it is adding the two numbers, right?
Done, got it.
Yeah. And then similarly, minus is again an operator, it will subtract to number. And like there are some other operators like and or something like that. We have lots of operator, but then similarly, if I have example of 4 bracket 5, so this
Which
bracket
is
right now here is,
multiplying.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is multiplying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So multiplying would be operator. Yeah.
Operator. So multiplying will be operator. And similarly, if I have an operator, so it will be working on something. Right? If I say I have a crane operator, it will be working on something. So that is he is working on crane, or maybe he is working on some stones to move it from one place to another, right? So the thing on which operator works are called as operands.
Got it.
Got it? So in
Yeah.
a statement, we will have operator and operands. So
Operands.
so the other, like other part of the operator, or maybe the part which is not operator, is an operand mostly.
Operand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope you got the operand and operand. And now why I am telling about these things, because the way the operator works depend upon the data type. Okay. For example, if I have my data type as text, okay, so if I have ABC plus XYZ, okay, what will it will give me? ABC XYZ. Okay, similarly, if I have my data type as integer, if I have 2 plus 5, it will give me 7. Now again, let's say if I have my up to this point, everybody is clear? Up to this point, everybody is clear?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now if I say I have something called as in text data type, I'm talking about text data type. Now if I say 2 plus 5, given that my data type is text, okay, what it will give me? It will give me 2 5. And again, this 2 5 is not a number, it is a spelling. Okay, similarly, if I have a number, let's say A plus B, okay, so somewhere it will throw me error. Okay, it will give me error in some of the applications it can give me something like a plus b, and it will give me some values around 65 plus 66, that is 121, right? Oh, sorry, 131, 131 in terms of hexadecimal. Okay, what is this? Let it be for now, and then it will give me an equivalent. It will provide me an equivalent decimal value as well. Decimal value. So my point is, depending upon the type of operation, oh sorry, type of data, depending upon the data type of a particular data, it will give me different result for the same operator. So that is why it is very essential that we can do, we need to have the proper data type for our data. Apart from that, like there are some operations which are specific to a particular data type. So for that, through using those operations, we'll have to make sure that our data is of the correct data type. Okay, is that clear? Oh, my bad. I by mistakenly muted somebody. Is
It's not clear, I think so. 2 plus 5, what you have said, 25, and A plus B hexadecimal.
okay? So okay, so let up to this one is clear. This one is also clear,
Yeah,
right?
this one. Yeah.
So everyone it
Text
is
and
clear.
integral.
Okay, let's say we go to the next point. Suppose I am storing my number as a spelling. Okay,
Mm.
I'm not storing this number as a number. I'm storing this number as a spelling. So what will happen now when I try to add these two numbers? Since my data type now is text, okay,
Mhm.
it will not give me 2 plus 5 equal to 7. It will give me 2 plus 5 is equal to 25.
2 5.
Again, not 25, it is 25.
Mhm.
Okay, and this 25 is not a number, it is a spelling.
So
Okay,
it is written in spelling, or it is in written on number? Just
it is
like
written.
you have that it is a text.
Okay, it is not written as 25. Okay, it is not
Mm-hmm.
like it is not, what I'm saying is it is 25. It is
Uh,
not like this.
uh,
Okay, it is still, it is not like this. So I'll just let's say it is not like this. So I'll read it. It is written as 25 only in the
okay.
like it is showing me as a number only, but then for the computer or for the application that is using this, it will not treat this as a number. It will treat this as a spelling.
Text
Okay.
format, like
Text
text.
format, yeah.
Text format. Okay.
Okay, now it is clear.
Yeah.
Okay, similarly going further, if we have in some of the application, it is not it, I'm saying it mostly it will throw an error, but then in some of the application, when you do an a plus b, given that you have stored them as an integer or maybe as an hexadecimal values, what will
Mhm.
happen is it will convert that value into a specific format. It need not to be hexadecimal, we are just taking this as an example,
Mhm.
and then it will convert that to a particular decimal value or any particular uh, different value, different data
Mhm.
type that you want. But then
Okay.
it will, so my point is it will give a different answer than expected, because as I said, like a plus b should ideally give me ab, right? But
Mhm.
then since it is stored in a different format, the answer may be different. So that is what I'm saying, depending upon the operation. Okay, so like my end result will not depend only upon my operator, it will depend upon my operator and the data type of the operands.
Okay.
Okay, and apart from there are some functions which are specific to a particular data type. For example, if I want to use a concat function, okay, so I will have to make sure that all the input inside this are text only. Okay, and if I want to say, let's say I want to have a some function sum, I will have to make sure that all the input inside this are numbers
Values.
only. Yeah, values or numbers only. Is that clear?
Yes.
So I hope now we understand why it is required that we define the proper data type for a particular column.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this
Yeah.
all this discussion that we have till now, it is just to highlight the importance of having different data type and then the correct data type for the particular column depending upon our use cases. Okay,
Done.
chalo. Hoping everybody got it 100%. Is there anybody who have some doubts around this topic, guys?
No one.
Okay. Suraj is very, Suraj know all these things for sure. Okay, so
Yeah,
Shashank,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So I hope I'm not giving any wrong information here. Maybe Suraj can, monitor me. Okay. So
No, no,
let's
no, no. You are on the right right.
thank you so much for acknowledging it. So guys, those who do not know, like Suraj is coming from ETL background, so that is why we are like he
Okay.
has all this information already. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah,
in case I need, I will definitely explain.
sure, sure. Okay. So yeah, going forward, let's try
आशीष
to
इसका इनका कोई एग्जांपल नहीं दे सकते मतलब प्रैक्टिकल में जैसे ये डेटा का कि जैसे सम है
हम
या ब्रैकेट ये सब चीजों का
हम इस चीजों का एग्जाम्पल कैसे दें यार। एक्सेल में एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, एक्सेल में ना डेटा को वो बहुत गलत तरीके से हैंडल करता है, इसलिए मैं एक्सेल में एग्जाम्पल दे सकता हूँ। और अभी मैं इसमें घुसूंगा तो मे बी
Ashish,
जब
once we tried to solve the queries, then we can discuss those things because
या
that will be practical.
when
No
will
need to be worried about those things.
yes, exactly. So maybe not here, if even if not on the database side, we'll definitely see all these things in the Power BI. Okay. So
Okay.
so yeah, now let's understand, since we are clear with what are different data types. So if you just want to know why I am not telling you all the data types, so if we want to just know what is the list, so let's say list of data types in MS SQL. Okay, so if I just go here, go to the data types, this is all the list that we have, right? Here we have all the list. No, not even this is not complete list. Okay, let's say where we have some other list. Not SQL, want MS SQL data types. So yeah, like my point is we have like, okay, for let's say for each numeric we have like big int, big decimal, integer, money, numerical, small int, small money, tiny int, something like that. For we have something called as float and real. We have, apart from this, we have something called as double and all those things. Okay, for character string we have character, varchar, text. Okay, and in varchar also we have something called as we have one more parameters where we want to limit the number of limit the number of characters that we no, not decimal, number of characters that we have. Okay, similarly for binary we have binary, variable binary, images. So if we go into detail of all these things, it will take a lot of time, so I'll just explain you the most common one, and as if we come across any new one, we'll talk about that as well. But if you want to know about anything, just go here and click on that particular, and then we can see what is the exact like differences between all those things. Okay, but as a data analyst, sorry, as a business analyst, you may not need to know, but then if you just understand what is the difference between these two, or maybe what is the like difference between integer and float, and then float and varchar, something like that, that is more than sufficient. Okay, just high level difference is more than sufficient. Okay, or maybe or in a nutshell, if you know like which kind of function uses which kind of values, that is more than sufficient. Okay, so yeah, let's move further for creation of tables. So let's say so obviously for tables we will need some columns. So we start with the column name, and then we define the data type. Okay, so let's say the bare minimum requirement that we want to create a table is a table name, the column name, and the data type. So if I just let's say we create a third table, and if I remove all this part, okay, all this part, and then also I'll try to create some data, then also it will execute and it will create a table for me. Okay, so let's just go here and refresh the table. Okay, so if you see, I have my table created. Okay, so now the next question is, if we can have a table with only this much level of information, why do we want to have all the other information, right? मतलब मैं फालतू में क्यों information दूं अगर मैं इतने में काम बन जाता है तो. And in this also, I hope everybody is clear now what is this int and what is this varchar, right? Everybody's okay. Let's go step by
What
step.
is varchar? I don't
So
understand varchar.
okay, so char stands for characters.
Okay.
Okay, var stands for variable.
Variable character.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what does this mean is I want to have a data type which is of variable characters, which means obviously it is going to be my text value. And apart from that, this amount of storage or amount of memory that I required for this particular value will vary depending upon the data. Okay, so suppose I have 255, right? So what it means is it can store up to 255 characters.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
if I have a statement or maybe some spelling which exceeds to 55 characters, it will not be, it will I guess throw an error. Okay, so generally we
Yeah,
take
yeah, it will.
generally we take sufficient number of characters so that it does not meets our it
Requirement.
covers up all the requirement. Okay,
And if we want to keep it like infinite, so what we have to do?
infinity it is not a possible. Okay, because every database has its own limitation. And then for varchar, if I'm not wrong, it is 255 only, right? Or if you want to check,
Uh, 200, 2000.
okay, maximum limit for varchar. Okay, so if you just see here, right, you say whenever I say I have a data type, so I have the range for it as well. So I cannot exceed my integer. So if I have my column as integer, I cannot go beyond this particular number. Okay, so what will happen is I'm not sure if it is possible, if it is the same for all the databases, but then if we exceed this number, it will go into cycle. So if we exceed this number, it will come down to again, let's say we want to 648, it will come to the minus 2 147 something. Okay, and then it will again keep on cycling the numbers. Okay, similarly for okay, so we have something like for in MS SQL, so it is around 8,000 characters. Okay, for 2008 and above. Okay,
Okay.
so depending upon the database and then depending upon the technology or the version of the database, these things can vary.
Very.
Okay,
Mm.
so I hope this answers your questions, right?
Yes.
It was it was Kareem, right? Or
Yes,
SK?
sir.
Okay, so
Both are me only.
okay. This Kareem and SK both are you.
Yeah, just like I log in through mobile and just seeing all the stuff in desktop. So
Desktop. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so maybe we are missing somebody. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you guys got what does this column name means and what does this data type indicate, right? So if you just go through like will I'll share these queries with you as well. So if I just go through all the database, right, all the tables that we have. Okay, so it is everything is same, right? We create a table, we go with the table name, we go with that column name and the data type. Again, column name and the data type everywhere, right? Create table name, column name and data type. Okay, now next thing we have something called as primary key, or let's say before that we will cover something called as null and not null. Okay, and apart from that, if you want to create data using the UI, what you can do is you can just right click on it, create let's say go to the tables, right click new table. Okay, and then maybe if you say I want to have a table name, let's say my column name will be say call one, my data type will be nchar varchar. Okay, and then my call two, it will be integer. We call three, it will again be, let's say a double v, do we have? No, double we don't have here. Maybe big int. Okay, so something like that. But then if I say, so if you see I have option for null or not null. So if I say not null, we will have a different use case for it. I'll just explain this shortly. Okay, and apart from that, if we just go ahead and make some changes on the properties as well, you can see there are lots of information that can be added while creating the tables. So whatever you see here, all this information can be added through queries as well. Okay, is it indexable, column set is sparse? Okay, so like this is the level of complexity it can go for creation of table itself. But then are we going to go through all those things? Answer is no, because creation of tables will not be your job. Okay, Yeah, so now coming to the what is null and not null. So basically what I'm when I say it can allow nulls, which means that uh, even if for a particular row I don't have this data, that is particular that is perfectly fine. So what will happen is, let's say column 1 has some value xyz, column 2 has value abc. So it will be more like, if I try to show it on Excel. Okay, if I will try to show this on you on Excel, what will happen is, suppose I have some value as call 1 as null. Okay, that is it should allow null. Okay, or maybe I will say not null, because by default it is null. And if you want to specify that, okay, I don't want to allow uh, null values, then you will have to specify. So right, if you remember, by default everyone was checked, right? So that means we can have null values for all the columns. Okay, let me,
Means zero. Mean to say
no, I'll that's
if
where
we
I'm
allow
coming.
zero,
That's where
no
I'm coming.
null.
Just give me a second, okay. So let's say call 3. So what will happen is, if I say this column is not null, so what this means, suppose if I have 1 2 3, okay, I cannot skip one value and then go to 4. So ideally it is not like we are filling this value. So we are when we are filling this value, it is like we have 1 a b c, maybe xyz. So let's say 2. So we can, so let's say we have something where we are missing this data, and we have something here, we have data here. Similarly, we have data here, we are missing data here, and then we have data here as well. We have some value here, we have some value here, and we have some value, we are missing some value here. So this particular row is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because we have said that this particular column cannot have null values, that is, it cannot have empty values. So whenever we have empty value for this particular column, that row will not be inserted at all, or else it will not be allowed at all in the in the data table. Okay, is that clear?
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
suppose, so where do we use this? Suppose we have list of employee, and then there is an employee id column. So obviously we cannot have any employee with an employee id, right? So we can tell the table that, okay boss, for my employee id you should not allow null values. Okay, so mainly it is done for the uh, identity column. So what is identity column? We'll talk about that later, but then it is generally used for a column which will define each row as an identity of its own. Okay, so that is something called as, I hope everybody got what is not null means, right? Everybody got what does this not null mean, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, now coming to the concept of primary key and foreign key. Before that, let's understand something called as identity. Okay, so identity, it is simply like you can simply say it is like you want to define each row separately with its own value. Okay, so what we are saying is, I want to create a list of values for my table. I want to create the list of values for my table, which will start from 1 and increment by 1. Okay, so it is like giving a serial number 1 2 3 4 5. So if I say if I use the same statement, something like, let's say if I use instead of 1 and 1, okay, if I say I have something like, so this one will give me result 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like that. Okay, if I choose the same statement, but for this time I started from 5, and then I want to have the increment by 3 or maybe by 2, it will show you, it will give me 5 7 9. Okay, I hope everybody got the feel of it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so this
So
is
it
what
is similar to the sequence in Oracle. Am I right?
sequencing. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so like now so generally it is used for serializing the like rows. Okay, so mostly the most common use of this is this, and then if you want to have some random values for a particular, or maybe a particular sequence for a column, you can use the same identity function. Okay, now coming to the third part, what is primary key? Okay, so let's understand there are two terms together which we will face, that is primary key and secondary key. Okay, primary key and we have something called as secondary key. I just increase the font. Okay, not the font, just the size. I hope everybody's able to see this one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so I'll take it on the top. But now, just there are few statements you should remember. Primary key are unique. I'll tell you what does this mean. Just understand this. This is unique. Okay, and secondary key is, or secondary key, or you can say it is more rightly to say FOREIGN. Foreign की spelling सही है?
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, so foreign key. Okay, so now let's first focus on primary key. Or you can say it is unique, or you can say it is the identifier. Okay, please don't confuse this identifier with this identity. Just remember this is the identifier. What does this mean? Okay, suppose if I have a table, let's say employee data. Okay, and I say, or maybe yeah, employee data. So let's say we have employee ID, we have name, we have let's say age. Okay, so what we have is employee ID can be like let's say EMP1. Okay, EMP1. And if I just expand this, should we talk, yeah, employee 2 and up to some employee. Can we have Raj one here, Raj again, maybe maybe Soya, maybe maybe Ramu, Sita, something like that. And age, sorry, was that to me? Okay,
No, 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 no.
okay. So my
No.
point is, can I have a employee ID as EMP1 again? Answer is no, because we cannot have more than
No.
more than one person with the same employee ID, right?
It should be
So
unique.
unique. So in this case, I would call this column as and okay, and also my employee ID identifies each row in a unique way, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it is acting as identifier for my each row. So now this is my primary key, or I will, if I mention it as primary key, it means that some of the restriction will be applied to it automatically, and those restriction are, it has to be unique. Okay, it has to be unique and it has to be not null.
Not null.
Okay, so these two properties has to be there. So if I say my column is primary key, these two restrictions will be automatically applied to that column. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope now you got what restrictions it means to have on, like when we say it is a primary key.
Primary key.
Is it clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Vivek is not here. Yeah, I got it. I guess so. Okay, for some reason I remembered him. Okay, so yeah, so I hope everybody's clear what are the restriction we have now. Why do we need to define primary key? Obviously just to make sure that we have unique values, and then we have that column as an identifier. Now there is something called as secondary key. Okay, I'll tell you. So suppose if I have one more table that will give me information about, let's say, employee address. Okay, so let's say we had an maybe employee payment, we can say, that will be more clear. Okay, employee payment. So let's say we have the EMP ID and we have the salary, or let's say we have the month and the salary. Okay, so let's say we have the employee ID EMP1. So, my bad. EMP1. Okay, so since it is salary, so obviously we can have employee ID twice as well, right? Employee ID one as twice, given that it is coming from June and then it is coming from July, right?
Yeah.
This is possible, right? So again, let's say employee ID, let's say 5, and then he's got the payment in the August, and the salary maybe something something, maybe some value. Okay, and similarly we can have employee ID 1 again. Okay, employee ID 1 again, and then it is, so let's say it is coming from June again, not June, let's say Jan. But you got the feel, right, how this table is going to be, right? Everybody got how this table and like is going to be, and what does it mean to have, like why do we have duplicate value here? Everybody is clear with these 2 points?
Is this example for
Yes.
secondary?
Yes.
Yeah, we are coming for the secondary. Like I'm trying to come up with the second a use case for the secondary table, secondary column, secondary key or foreign key. Okay, so what will happen is now when I'm trying to connect, so if I want to see what is the total payment received by this uh, particular employee, so I will have to come to this table, right? Is this clear?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now what will happen is if I'm connecting this information to this second table, there should be some similarity between the two columns, right? Oh, sorry, between the two tables. And that similarity is coming from the employee ID.
Mhm.
Okay. So for employee ID one, I want to see the information about his payment. So I will come here and I will check the employee ID. So the column on which the primary key matches the second table, not just the second, maybe third, fourth, fifth, any table, but then the column on which my primary key will match to another table, it is called as secondary key or foreign key.
Okay.
Clear? So we'll talk more about it when we'll talk about joins, but then I hope this statement is clear for now. The column on which my primary key make a match, or the column on which I can join my primary key with a different table, that is called as foreign key.
Even though it's multiple times. If it repeated
Even,
also.
even if it is repeated, no issues with that, at least for the foreign key.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope everybody got this point, what is primary key and what is foreign key. So generally what happen is the foreign key need not to be specified. Okay, but then it is good to specify to make sure to just to remind us that this column is indicating to some primary column in other table. So if I just have another, it is if I just primary key and secondary key or maybe foreign key. Okay, so what will happen is whenever I am seeing this table and when I'm going to the information about this table, so if I see that okay, this column is primary key, i'll be I'll be assured that this column is going to match somewhere to other table on the it is going to match some on some column that is on a different table, and then we will have a separate primary key as well for that. Okay, that is why if you just mention the foreign key, it becomes more clear, right? Okay, for this particular table, which are the columns which are going to be matched on different table. Okay, so that is the main reason why we define the foreign key. So now we'll talk more about this when we'll talk about this thing joins, and again when we'll see about the concept of data modeling in Power BI. But then if you're right now, if you're just understanding what is foreign key and what is primary key, that is more than sufficient. So I hope that is clear to everyone, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
more about it again when we talk about joins and then data modeling. Okay, so that is why we have defined that okay, my this column, that is category ID, I want it to be coming from a sequence, and then this has to be a primary key, or else this will be my primary key for this particular table. So if I just go to the queries, all the tables that we have, okay, so you see we have something called as primary key, we have something called as not null. Okay, also in some of the cases we haven't defined it here, but then you can also define foreign key, or else you can define it through the database diagrams. Okay, if that is required. We have some other things as well, cascade and all those things that need not to see. We have some foreign key here as well. Okay, foreign key, foreign key, foreign key. Okay, all those things are there. So okay, so these are used for data, like creation of data diagrams or maybe creation of relationships down the line. But then for now, let's stick to the concept only. So I hope everybody is clear with the how do we create tables, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So everybody's clear with database, creation of database, creation of schemas, why these are required, and why do we have tables, and how do we create columns inside a particular table. And then also we saw that what are different important uh, parameters that can be passed initially to create some tables apart from the data type. right?
No, normally we raise a query for get the data.
Yes, yes, yes. No, normally we'll be writing query only for pulling the data. So,
Pulling the data.
so let's from my experience, I can say that for last 5 years, I have been working in this domain. Okay,
Okay.
when it is when it is the case of actual project, right? We are not allowed to make even a single column change in the particular database. So maybe
Okay.
Suraj can tell more about this, right? Suraj, you are coming from media background. So whenever you are exposing
Yeah,
a
yeah,
whenever you are exposing a database to a particular application guy or developer guy, you give the very minimum access to the database, right?
yeah, exactly.
So what happens is,
Okay.
guys, so if so like there are different roles in the database. Okay, so if I can just show, like I showed you, right, for the security.
But Ashish, we in Oracle at the time of creation only create database name and identify that is password. We set all those things and then only we grant the
Yes, yes.
permissions at the same time. But in MySQL, we didn't do something like that.
Yeah, we did not do, because I don't wanted to get into the concept of users, because that is not required at all. So what I did is,
Okay.
Okay,
like,
okay.
so right now everything is done through SA user, right? If you see here also, in my query window, it has says SA59, right?
Yeah.
So that is like all these query are executed by SA, which is an user which has all the
Okay.
most, which has most of the permissions.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so
It
if
act as a DB permission.
yeah, we have all permissions and all those things. So
Yeah, exactly.
right, not here. So all the database access that it has. Okay, and server roles that it have, like, so there are multiple roles, guys, but then we need not to go into this. Just understand that when you go into industry, it is not what we will be doing, but then it is a very good it is a necessary, or maybe it will be required at some point of time, that if you understand the tables in a better way, you will be able to understand the data much efficiently. Okay,
Okay.
and you should also be familiar with something called as data diagrams down the line, because it is impossible for you to go through all the tables and all the columns in a particular database. So right now I don't have access to a production server. Okay, just give me a second, I'll stop my sharing and then I'll try to connect to a particular server if possible. Okay, just give me a few seconds. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to, because recently I got my delivery done to the clients. So I'm just checking if I still have the access to that particular server. So let me see. So if that is possible, I'll show you the real database. How does it looks? Okay, just give me a second so that you guys can get a real feel of it. Mhm. Mhm. सच सी है ये तारीफें. It fine. Stubbles.com. In the meantime, guys, are you guys okay with this kind of teaching style, or like you want me to go through all the presentations and just go at a bit fast pace?
Presentation okay, but not fast paced.
Okay.
So like
Mm,
Anna, we do need some theoretical written kind of material that
mhm.
would be easy for us to like.
I would really recommend try to start using internet more often, because this is actually
Yeah.
how you're going to work in industry. You will never follow a particular note. That is why I'm not making
Hmm.
any habitual of any data, any notes. uh, so just I'll stop my like recording for some time. Okay, because this is some proper data which I don't want to expose it here. Okay, so I'll